Yeah. Full court press. CJ. Yeah. What we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies dropping J's up. Players this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime. Yeah. We break it down, we gon' call your bluff, it's past time. You recognize, boy, press. We got the heat down in Florida with the keys. Yes, we the best. Magic, we flash with them fans, listen, won't see the best. Show rise from the airwaves like all stars in them stairways. Local rockin', we not stopping, got hot topics like every day. Them trades hit that deadline. My team chasing the big ring. We ball, check that headline. Don't mess it up when you pick teams. The only station giving y'all that info with that real talk. Don't be trying to contest it. Go toe to toe and get wheeled off. We shooting from deeper than that report from the bleachers. If you ain't on your game, then we got something to teach you. Tie your laces up, might get shook up out of them sneakers. That triple threat, bless your eardrum straight out of your speakers. Go from that black top to the hardwood. Locker room to that press day. Got the scoop on them contracts, new prospects and best plays. NBA defined by the grind, in between the lines, full court pressing, finessing, read the signs. What we talking about? 94.
Good morning, basketball fans. This is the Rally Association podcast, and this is the December 6th edition of the show for the good old Friday, getting ready for your weekend. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, checking in with you. Give me a shout and give me a follow on Twitter at DannyDA and Y3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as AroundTheAssociation.com and Around the Association's Facebook page. Subscribe and share the podcast. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. We are on Podcast Addict, Google Podcast, Spreaker, and every other place you can find podcasts everywhere. So for those listening for the first time, this is the best way to find everything you missed last night in the NBA, and about 15 to 20 minutes or so compact into a wonderful podcast. So last night in the NBA was nothing more special than a regular night. It was a four night schedule in the NBA, getting ready for a crazy and wonderful weekend. And last night in the NBA was some very interesting storylines. So we're going to start off with what happened last night in New York City. The Denver Nuggets destroyed the New York Knicks last night in the Garden, 129-92. The good news for Knicks fans is the game did not end up as a 40-point blowout. The bad news is it was another poor performance by the Knicks at home. The Nuggets had 8 guys in double figures last night. It was not pretty. It was not pretty basketball at all whatsoever. Will Barton had 17 points. The only 2 Nuggets that got major playing time that didn't get in double figures was Gary Harris and Nikola Jokic. They both played around 22, but the Jokic played 24 minutes and Harris played 22, and both were right near 10 points. But really, this was an embarrassment of the game last night for Knicks fans. The Knicks have been blown out for the second consecutive game, and it wasn't even close. It was a balanced effort from Denver. The backups, I think the Nuggets scored somewhere around 75 points last night. It was all about the Knicks not being prepared again. Like, this looked like a Knicks team, even though they had a smaller lead in the first quarter, that just have checked out. A 34-18 run in the second, a 34-18 second quarter, whatever you want to call it, abomination, allowed this game to be, 67-45 at halftime. And then at that point, the Knicks just basically just could not keep up. Huge game for everybody across the floor. But as far as the Knicks go, this should be the end of David Fitz at this point. The Knicks are now 4-19 on the season. I know Dave 4-18 of the year. I know Fitz got a raw deal with this roster, but there's no way this team should not even be competitive on the floor. The Knicks have been blown out on a consistent basis for the last month. They look like a team that shouldn't even be in the NBA right now. Tanking is one thing in the NBA, but in other phases of the game, this is not tanking. This is just bad basketball. The Knicks have been blown out again. They've been doing it at home. You have your entire front office leaving, like I said. And then the bad part was they lost by 44 on Monday night to Milwaukee, and David Fitzgerald said the effort wasn't even there. Now the question was, what happened last night? Fitzgerald's response was, to the Knicks struggles and worry about the blame being put on him. I don't care about all that. I only think about that reality. This means this team needs a change is needed. I know this is not the best Knicks roster. I understand this team is not. This team is poorly constructed. Steve Mills and the front office should be ashamed of themselves for what they put together on the floor. But at the same time, you have to have some kind of fight. And tonight there is no fight from Knicks at all. Mitch Robinson had 17 points to lead the Knicks last night. But like I said, they got 9 points from R.J. Barrett, who struggled 4 of 10 shooting last night. Dennis Smith Jr. is 1 for 7 last night. Marcus Morris, who normally reliable, he struggled. This is just a bad effort. Once again, another bad effort. And guys like Alonzo Trier, who was a key role last year, only played 6 minutes and really hasn't played much this season at all. For a guy who had such high hopes going into the season, he's only played 11 games this season and can barely get off the bench. The Knicks are bad, and this is like completely embarrassing. On the other end of the spectrum, you gotta give credit to the Washington Wizards last night. Wizards take on the Philadelphia 76ers, and the Sixers are a completely different team, not Wells Fargo Center. They're undefeated there. On the road, they're 5-7 now. 119-113 with the Wizards with the win at home last night. The thing with the Wizards is that the Wizards don't have much of a front line. With injuries to Thomas Bryant and Yamahimi getting back, the team had to start Mo Wagner at center. He played pretty well against Joel Embiid. He had 11 rebounds. But they got a huge game from Rui Hachimura with 27 points, 7 rebounds. I think it's even a career high for Hachimura. The Wizards played so well defensively. They forced 15 turnovers on a combination of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. It was a very, very good effort from the Wizards, a team that scored a lot of points, and they scored just enough to beat one of the best defenses in the NBA. And give credit to the Wizards last night. Bradley Beal had 26 points in the game last night. It was really mostly a lot of hot shooting. Davis Bertans had a huge second quarter. He had 19 of his 25 in the quarter. In the first half, he literally scored 22 points, 8 of 8 shooting, 6 of 6 from the 3-point line. Maybe Pop might have been wrong for getting rid of him. A great stat about the series. The Sixers have lost 10 straight games in D.C. and have not won a game since before the process started, which is November 1st, 2013. This was, I mean, you don't want to say it's a house of horrors, but it ain't been pretty for the Sixers making that trip down to D.C. Tobias Harris led the way for the Sixers last night with 33 points. Embiid had 26 points, 21 rebounds in the game. But like I said, he had 8 turnovers. Simmons had 7 of his own, even though he had 17 points and 10 assists in the game. Wizards are now, like I said, have found ways to score points, and they will do that all season. The question is, can they play tough defense? They did it last night. Out in Toronto last night, the Toronto Raptors lost their second consecutive game at home. Rockets hit 22 3-pointers as a team as they took care of business 119-109 on the road in Canada last night. It was a game where James Harden scored 23 points because he was double-teamed the majority of the game. Russell Westbrook had another triple-double. He had 19 points to go along with it. Was 11 rebounds and 13 rebounds, 11 assists in the game. Westbrook did take 27 shots in this game, mind you. But the real story was the fact that the Rockets took 55 3-pointers and knocked down 22 of them. Ben McLemore led the way with 28 points last night. He knocked down 8 3-pointers of his own. PJ Tucker hit 5. Harden and Daniel House Jr. along with Austin Rivers also knocked down 3 apiece as well, too. All those guys were double figures. Tucker 18. For the Raptors last night, Kyle Lowry shot the ball a lot better than he did. He shot 2 of 18 in his first game back. In his second game back last night, shot 5 of 8, got 19 points and 8 assists. Fred VanVleet had 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and Siakam led the way with 24 points and 9 rebounds. Really, in this game, it was about the Rockets just shooting the 3-point ball, getting as many looks as they wanted to, and they found other ways to score, even though James Harden wasn't doing it himself. The Raptors lost their second straight game of the season at home. The Raptors have to get things together, and one of the things that we've learned about the season is that the Raptors have to find ways to score. And remember, this is Kyle Lowry's second game back in the lineup. He has to get reacclimated with his teammates, reacclimated with rotations, and they'll get better. I mean, this is nothing to be worried about. Nick Nurse and company still know what they're doing. They're still one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and still have a chance to win this game. But as a Rockets fan, it's good to see James Harden not have to take 65 shots in the game and be effective. Last but not least, the Thursday night schedule, the Phoenix Suns and Monty Williams go into New Orleans and went in overtime 139-132. Monty Williams' first game coaching since he left New Orleans, and also since the death of his wife back in 2016. This is the Suns are now 1 game under 500. Devin Booker led the way with 44 points and 9 assists. They got some huge buckets from Ricky Rubio in overtime, but the problem was the Suns blew a 20-point lead in this game, led the Pelicans back in it, and then at one point in the fourth quarter, the Pelicans knocked out 5 3-pointers in a stretch of basketball to get themselves back in it. And 2 of those 3-pointers came from Lonzo Ball, who went who had knocked down 4 of 5 from downtown last night to go along with 20 points and 11 assists with 6 rebounds. In the game, the Pelicans were led by J.J. Redick at 26 points. Redick had a number of three-pointers to keep the Pelicans in, including one down the stretch in overtime to cut the lead to 3, but it was too many free throws down the stretch and too much of Booker and Frank Kaminsky, who had 20 points in the game, to give the Suns the victory last night. Suns are now 10-11. Pelicans, well, they're 6-16, and they're still waiting Zion Williams' return. Bad part is we do not know when he's due back. He's at the 6-week mark. We're hoping he'll be back before Christmas. So, a busy weekend in the NBA. Friday night has 10 games. Saturday has 5. And Sunday has 8. So, we'll give you some good matchups to watch them over the weekend. On Friday night, of course, the main game on Friday night schedule will be out in Boston. The Denver Nuggets will take on the back-to-back take on the Boston Celtics. The Nuggets and Celtics, two of the best teams in the NBA. Celtics are still undefeated at home. Nuggets, like I said, came off a dominating effort in New York last night. Can they build off that effort? 8 o'clock game on ESPN. Expect Gary Harris to watch a lot of Kemba Walker. Gary Harris has had a tremendous year defensively, and the Nuggets have been one of the best defensive teams, if not the best defensive team in the league this year. Trust me, Gary Harris and Kemba Walker, Gary Harris and Jaylen Brown will be a very, very fun matchup to watch because Gary Harris has put up some really good defensive metrics and defensive abilities against that against two guards against the league. But of course, the game of the night on Friday night, I know we just mentioned that that's the ESPN game. This is the best game of the night. 8:30 NBA League Pass. Clippers travel to the Bucks. Two of the best teams in the entire league. The Bucks have the best record in the league. The Clippers are basically now getting themselves in full stride. Giannis, Kawhi, PG, Chris Middleton, you already know what you're getting into. This is the best game of the night, probably the best game of the entire weekend. This is must-watch television. If you have nothing to do and you have access to this game, just sit in front of it. This is an early season finals preview at best. The Bucks are coming in with a 13-game winning streak, the longest winning streak since 1972, 73-74 season. The Clippers are playing at a high level. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, when they're on, and Montrezl Harrell is destroying people off the bench as usual. The Clippers have got the rotations back. This is a super big test. That is what I'll be watching on Friday night. Saturday night's a little bit shorter of a night. 5 games on the schedule. If I pick one game to watch on Friday, on Saturday, you're looking at the game on, you look at early game, 2 o'clock in the afternoon on League Pass, which would be the Dallas Mavericks and New Orleans Pelicans. I know the record's a little bit interesting. The Pelicans are kind of inverse. The Pelicans are 6-16, while the Mavericks are 15-6. Anytime Luka Doncic has a chance to play against one of the better guards in the league, in Drew Holiday, it is something to watch. And not to mention, it's in the middle of the afternoon, in between conference championship games. Sunday. Of course, NFL is on, but the NBA does have a few games on the schedule. They normally try to keep it light. Best game of the day on Sunday, you're looking at, or the game I'll be watching Sunday will be 6 o'clock on League Pass, Raptors and Sixers. Another big game in the Eastern Conference. The Sixers still undefeated at home. They're 10-0 at home this season. They're a completely different team inside Wells Fargo Center. The Raptors looking to bounce back after losing 2 consecutive games at home. The Raptors they got Kyle Lowry back. He got Serge Ibaka back. This is a rematch of that playoff series last year. Of course, won by the Raptors and the Kawhi Leonard shot. And a rematch of a game that the Raptors won earlier this season. Like I said, the Sixers have something for them, especially Sixer fans. So, we've caught you back up for the entire weekend of the NBA. Oh, and by the way, we didn't do stud of the night, so let's go back to that. So, on last night in the NBA, who was the stud of the night? Well, a 4-game schedule, a lot of guys to choose from, but I'm going to go a little different this way. I know Devin Booker had 44 points and 9 assists, but my stud of the night will be in Washington last night, where rookie Rui Hachimura, last night, 27 points, 7 rebounds, a tremendous effort, 11-18 shooting for him last night in the Wizards' 119-113 victory over the Philadelphia 76ers. He was really, really good last night. He got to the paint. He shot the ball very well. He was effective. He played the high post, low post. He's just one of those guys that doesn't have super athleticism, but he gets it done. Some people might call it the YMCA game, but Hachimura plays with tremendous effort every single night, and tonight paid off. Other guys I was in the running last night, of course, Davis Bertans, because he had 19 points in that second quarter, 22 the first half, with all those insane shooting numbers he had. Also, J.J. Redick had a huge game for the Pelicans in their loss last night. And also, big shout outs to the Rockets as a team for all those 3-pointers. So, follow me on Twitter at DannyDANNY, the number 3 Thompson on Twitter, Raleigh Association and on the Facebook page, as well as around the association website, as well as subscribe to the podcast on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, any place that plays podcasts. So we'll catch you guys Monday for Around the Association. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe, everybody. Peace.
Go for launch.
Yeah. Full court press.